So to see the students in the list view, you press Student List View. Now, I'm just going to show or talk about the buttons at the top of the screen, since how to add a student in List View is explained in another video. So let's start with the Home button. The Home button at the top of the left-hand part of the screen takes you just home to the main menu. So I'm going to press that. You can see how that takes us home. Back here to the main screen. To get back into Students, I press the Student button. And then the Student List View, I press that to get back to where we were. Now the button beside that at the top is the back button. It's like an arrow. It just goes back to the previous screen. So I'm going to press Student List again. The next button is a sort button. It sorts the list here, or whatever screen you're on. So if I press that, I can sort by student name, grade, gender, or unsort. So in this class I have some grade 4s and 5s. So I'm going to sort this by grade. And you'll see I have a green bar now at the top that says grade 4s, I have 13 of them. If I scroll down, grade 5s, I have 4 of them. Let me change that to by gender. Now you'll see females, it sorts them together. I have 6 of them. And then males, I have 11 of them. To get it back to the original way, I go back to student, just sort by student name. It's defaulted to sort by student name. The next button over is a magnifying glass, and it's really a search button. So when I press that, it clears all the fields just to allow me to enter in what I want to search for. So let's say I want to search for, I want to find all the all the females in the class, how many females there are or something. Or I just want to isolate the females. So I do a search for, I type F in, or select F for gender, and if I pressed Start Search now, it would find all the females in the class. Now I can be more specific, just enter more information in other fields. So maybe in grade, I'm going to type all the females in grade 4. So I have now, it's going to find all the females in grade 4. So I can just be more or less specific. So let me press Start now. And it asks if I want to sort these records. I'm just going to say no. And you can see here, these are all the females in grade 4. Now to get back to the regular list, to see everybody again, I just have to show them all again. Show all, press that Show All button. And now all the students are now seen in the list. The next button over is the Add button, is to add a new student. It's green, and when I press that button, it just adds a new line at the top, a new blank record, and I type in the name, John, oh, sorry, it's coming up, John Doe, and so on, and just fill it in. For the new student, let's just fill that in, I guess. Let's go male, 4, and let's go 4/5V. The next button along the top is the Share button. And if I press that button, it's how I can kind of send this out or share it. I can create a PDF of any of these things. One is a PDF of this current list. So if I just tap that, it creates a PDF of just this list, and I can go up to that same kind of share button in the top corner, and I can email it, message it, send it as a message, text message, do it to a drive or any of that kind of thing, or just press done if I don't want to do anything, or I can print that as well. If I press that again, I can print from this or create a PDF of the full form, the form view for this particular student that I'm on, which is John Doe, or a full form view, which is basically a separate page for each student with all their details of student information of the current list. So I could find all the females, like I did earlier, and print a form view for all of them, or I could find just Anita Bath, the top student, and just, or maybe a few students, and print off just them or print off everybody. Or then the last one is a blank form, where it prints off a blank form that you can send home and parents fill out, and then you enter the information later. And then there's the movie button, which is just the help button, which takes you to videos, which you've probably already pressed if you're watching this. And the only other buttons on here that I should talk about are the expand button to the left-hand side of the screen. It's a green button, and there's a little arrow beside each student's name. So if I go to Eager Beaver, the second student down, and press the expand button, the little arrow beside his name, it expands it to the form view, the full view, the form view of that student. And if I want to go back to the list view, the smaller view, I should press the shrink button. Same kind of button, but just the opposite. Shrinks it back to the list view. So I can go to one particular student. I'm going to go down to the bottom, and let's go to Danielle here at the bottom, and press expand, and I see her full form view, and back to shrink. Then there's a little email translation. It says email translation button on the right hand side. It's a little plus sign. When I press that, it actually brings up the emails for the Guardian 1 and Guardian 2. It's just a larger view so that you can see the whole email. Sometimes they're not chopped off, but you can't see all of them, especially if you're in a portrait view using the iPad. If you have it rotated that way. On the screen, it can be small, whereas this will show just a full view of the emails. It makes it easier for entering or for viewing. But there's also down the bottom of this little box is email translation, and you see it says EN in English. If I tap that little box, I can change it to any other language. Well, it's about 100 languages. And this is if the parent doesn't speak English. I'm in a school right now that's quite diverse, and not all the parents speak English, so I kind of added this part. And it basically allows you to, when you send any emails out, it'll send it through Google Translator and convert it to whatever language you selected for that parent. So if I press French, and then press submit, and then just tap somewhere, you'll see that outside of this, you'll see it turns blue, the plus button, and that just means that those students that have the blue plus buttons mean that their emails are set up for a different language. And the last button to really look at is the delete button. And if I press a delete button for someone, let's do the John Doe. If I press that, make sure it says delete student, delete John from student information. Just make sure you pressed the right trash can, and by reading the name, make sure, yeah, that is the student I want to get rid of. And it has 3 options: moved, delete, or cancel. It says, note, students who are deleted will also be removed from any assessments they have been placed in. So if a student has moved from the school, press moved instead. So what that allows you to do is, if I made a mistake and I don't really want this student, I just press delete. But if they've been a student in the classroom, and I've done some assessments and that sort of thing, I just want to press moved so that all their information, assessment information, does not get deleted. And all the moved will do is in any future assessments I create, they won't be part of. So it just kind of takes them off of any of the new assessments that are created. Now if they return, you just go to the student form view, and there's a little moved tab, and you just press returned, and it'll add them so that when you do any future assessments, they will be now added to those assessments. I'm just going to cancel this.